Well, let's do it then. So, the plan for tonight is that we do a little bit of session 0, and we look at the characters, the character creation stuff, creating your kid in the Tales from the Loop system, and we also I'll introduce the setting generally, just as a broad overview, and from that, I'm hoping that we'll be able to then jump into the starter of the adventure, the mystery, and this will take us through the to midnight. So we've got about 3 hours, and we'll get through that with a sensible point to end, and we'll continue that in 2 weeks' time. So we'll actually get into the adventure, into the mystery proper. But yeah, so for those of you that don't already know Tales from the Loop, I suspect that's why everybody's here. They do know it, and folk probably know it very well. But it's a very retro look at an alternate timeline of the past, basically from an artist who created works of art that people's imaginations have been entirely captured by. And it is an amazing combination of tech, sci-fi, and retro vibes. It spawned a TV series on Amazon. It spawned books. It's got sequels. It's quite a franchise. If anybody's watched it on TV, sometimes I found it to be a bit slow. I don't know if anybody else has seen it. A bit slow at times, but it's got a real sense of intrigue and mystery to it. And we're going to bring some of that too, as well as trying to explore some of these crazy landscapes that Simon how do you pronounce the name? Stalberg?
Stellenhag, isn't it?
Stellenhag?
Stellenhag?
Yeah.
Stellenhag?
Yeah. So yeah, the artist that must be sitting quite impressed to see that their art has really resonated so heavily across so many different generations as well. Some of us were alive in the 80s, some of us were only just alive in the 80s, and some of us weren't alive in the 80s. And yet we can all look back on it with some sense of fondness, because after all, it was the music of the best ever creations in music. Isn't that right, Samuel Pirate?
Well, I wouldn't like to say, because there's already been some comments on the Discord from somebody who won't be mentioned, but I think I'll have to have words maybe a bit later about that. But to be fair, I don't know which of those songs. They said, I'm not going to say them. They said they could only listen to 4 of the songs that have been posted in the Discord channel, but they didn't say which 4.
Yeah, we had a bit of
fun. I'm intrigued.
I mean, didn't they share a song as well? So I assume that's one of them.
Well, yeah.
Excellent. So anyway, so this idea of having us all get harnessing our inner child, and I'd like to think that it doesn't actually matter if you were or were not a child in the 80s, because there are some eternal themes of being children. Causing trouble. I mean, that's never going to change, right? And we've all been there. We've all done that. Getting our sneaky beak into things.
Oh, it's all coming out now, isn't it? All coming out now, Croy.
Yeah, that just aren't yours. So I think we've all been there. But yeah, so with this game, I'll give you a quick idea of the setting. First of all, just to picture this. It's set in the Scottish Lowlands. the Scottish lowlands are they span coast to coast, but this particular part of it is the Scottish borders, and it's well known for its rolling hills. You can be in a valley, and the only thing that you see when you look from one side to the other is the other side of the valley. You don't have these great sprawling views until you get up to the top. Now, in this alternate history that I've created to allow for the loop to be located here, Scotland has been independent for a number of years, and it has had the influence of America to help build this loop for the scientists. It's also working in support of Sweden. So this is the third loop in the world outside of Russia, and we don't know about some of the other countries. But the timeline here also includes in the 50s the discovery in Russia of or the Soviet Union as it was then, the magnetrine effect, which is allowing the harnessing of magnetic power to float items above. And that has formed a huge part of the logistics of the world. So that's also part of the technology that's around. And the magnetrine effect has allowed for commerce to be taken in a new direction. We still have trucks, we still have cars, there are motorbikes and mopeds and all those kind of things still exist because they're useful for short travels. But some of the big businesses are running these lines, and there are smaller uses of it as well. So we'll see some elements of that within the setting. There's a lot of politics in this world, and it's the adults that worry about the politics. The kids, they don't really need to know. Occasionally they might get dragged into it, but they don't care. They don't worry about it. Things like the Berlin Wall in 1961 getting erected, the Cold War, these sorts of things, Vietnam, all these things still happened in this world. But also the use of robots is ubiquitous. Robots are everywhere, and robots were used to help discover North Sea oil. They were there to help fight wars in some parts of the world. So yes, the setting is of a small country with big allies and a big future with the creation of this loop. The Scottish High Energy Physics Agency, SHEPA, is the main location employer of the area. The town that we're in the Scottish borders, I'll place it for you guys. This is courtesy of Google. Thank you, Google, for allowing me to use your map. I think I have to mention that. This just gives you a rough idea as to where it actually is in the world. So Edinburgh is about 40-50 miles to the south. Newcastle is about 50 miles. Sorry, Edinburgh's to the north and Newcastle's to the south. It's right on the border. The loop actually goes almost right up to the border with Northumberland National Park, also known there as the Cheviot Hills. Run right across that area, and it's a big expanse of emptiness. It was chosen because of its geological suitability, and also its proximity to the capital of Scotland. And there's a large road that runs all the way up there. Locally, the local map, I've put this together without using Google because it was impossible to get it looking anywhere near. This is really back. I'm actually wondering if I've just given you a blank screen there. Yeah, there's a map there. We'll get that sorted. So that's the position of it. That's where the map is, and we have already done a little bit of character creation. I say we. This is the first time that I'm really getting to know these characters other than seeing their picture. So having gone over the background. Does anybody have any particular questions about the setting itself, or does it all seem fairly loosey-goosey at the moment and we can flesh it out as we go?
Yeah, I think I'm okay. I don't think I need any further details.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Sounds good so far.
Yeah.
You're just kids that are generally just ignored by parents and have a fairly mundane life apart from all the weird stuff going on.
Yeah.
Standard.
So, kids, there is a reasonable amount involved with creating your kid. And I've picked up on a few of the comments in Discord and elsewhere just to sort of say that it may be that we don't get every aspect of it done tonight, and it may be that we want to change things based on our experiences tonight as well. But would anybody like to go through the first couple of things with me, just to explain a little bit about their character? Anybody volunteers to go first?
I'm willing to if nobody else wants to step forward.
Go for it, Marty.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what is the name? What character? What's your character called?
I have chosen the name of Martin Pereira.
Okay, and how old is Martin?
Martin is 13 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, I figure he's actually not a native of Scotland, and that he's come from. I think I decided that his parents, they both are like particle physicists. They've moved around the world doing their various different research jobs, and for whatever reason, they've ended up here in Scotland with the Scottish loop here.
Okay. When is his birthday?
You see, that was one of the things I hadn't thought, because there's no way to write it on the sheet, was there?
If you stick it into,
I will randomly choose. What's today's date?
We will start on
You really don't know. Good thing
No, you
today's
don't
not
have to tell
Valentine's
me.
Day.
the 1st of July, or we will start on the 1st of July in the game.
I was thinking more of like today's date being the 5th of Feb. That's interesting. That's exactly when Martin's birthday is. Strange that. Anyway.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Okay, right then.
You wanted that, didn't you?
No, I already picked one out of the air because I just, used my imagination.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, congratulations.
It's all good.
So does
With
that
that-
mean he just turned 13?
No, because it's July in the game, so he's been 13 for a few months now.
A few months, yeah.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah. Bless him.
Alzheimer.
Bless him.
So yeah, now that obviously at 13, the way that the game works is that you get either luck, you get more luck points if you're younger, but you get more attribute points if you're older.
Yeah.
So your age is 13, and you have.
So I have 2 luck points. Yeah.
Yeah, and you
and
have, but
13.
you also have 13 attribute points. Have you had a
I
thought
do.
about where they might go?
You know what? I have. I so have. So I have a body of 2. I decided he's quite a small kid for his age, which probably makes him look a bit younger than he actually is. But he's pretty tech savvy. He has a 4 in tech. Not so sure about the kind of the emotional aspects of him, and so I've put his heart at 3. He's going to be smart. He's going to be smart because he wants to be like Dad, and so he's got a mind of 4.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna just quickly add Martin to Lloyd. So if you want Lloyd, you could bring that up on the stream as well. Okay. So
I can't see the
Martin.
sheet at the moment.
All right. Hang on. I maybe need to. I'll be roll 20. Don't worry about it. We'll get that for later during the break. If you get a refresh, it'll probably show.
Yeah,
up.
well, once they're all filled in, I'll make images we can put up.
That's cool. That's cool. Okay, so yeah, Martin is a bit of a clever kid.
Yeah.
He kind of respects his family, his any. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, I think, yeah, he definitely does. One of his drives, or his drive is, I want to be as smart as my dad.
Yeah.
Or Mr. Boyd, my science teacher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now there are lots of other things that we can do, but before we move on to them for your character, we'll jump on to the next player. Who would like to go next? Any volunteers?
I'll go next.
Velo, cool. Right. So, well, who is your character? What's their name?
My character is Jamie Ryan. She's also 13.
Excellent. So they're at school together.
She is from California and is here because her aunt works as a scientist here. And her mother wants to be closer to her sister, so that's why we moved. My parents are always fighting with each other. So my drive is to look after my little sister because they tend to get a little caught up in their own stuff and forget about her. I am a rocker. My pride is playing my guitar.
Excellent.
And my favorite band is Joan Jett and the Blackhearts.
All right. Now, there are places in the area that can employ people who don't work at the Loop. Although the Loop is the biggest employer, there is a tools, a machining company that was there. There's a plastics factory. And then in the neighbouring town, there is an electronics factory. So if you're ever looking to flesh it out, employment is available in the area that isn't necessarily at the Loop. But there's also textiles as well in one of the neighbouring towns. So it could, if they're not directly employed at the Loop, then there's plenty of opportunities. There's quite a big business surrounding the Loop. When is Jamie's birthday?
September 18th.
Excellent. If you could write that into your notes. There isn't a... That's the one thing on the sheet that doesn't have. So, excellent. 18th. Okay, it's not that far away then, because we're starting on the 1st of July. Interesting. And in terms of the attributes, did you have a thought about where these are going to go? I see on your sheet that you filled them out. Is that what you're going to go with?
I think the skills we get 5 points total.
So in terms of the attributes, yes, you can put them equal to your age.
Okay, so I have that.
Yeah, and then below that, you've then got skill points, and these have extra abilities. You can have 10 points distributed amongst your skills, but you can only take up to level 3 in the 3 key skills of your type. And for other skills, a starting skill level of 1 is the maximum. So depending on what type you've chosen, you should have already been identified the 3 skills that are given, and then for any other one, you can only go up 1 point in those. So this corresponds to how many dice you can roll whenever you try to overcome some particular trouble. And we'll go into a bit more about we'll probably just do it, and then we'll probably get it a little bit wrong, and then we'll worry about that. We'll worry about that afterwards. We'll have a think about how it works, and then next time we play, we'll be a little bit wiser in hindsight. So I'm quite happy with that. That's a good way to roll. But so don't worry about that. But it's there. You have the 10 points you can distribute on your skills, and this is probably a good point to introduce those skills as well, just to say that they're not dissimilar to other games that you may have played. We've got Sneak, Force, Move, Tinker, Program, Calculate, Contact, Charm, Lead, Investigate, Comprehend, and Empathize. So if anybody in game wants to have a look at those, you can click on the the grey circle with the white eye in game, and that'll bring up the compendium, and from that you can get access to the rules in there. Or if you have the PDF, or indeed if you have the manual. I think Mark has the manual. You've got the book for this one, haven't you, Mark?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. So it's there. I'm looking at the creating your kid section at the moment. So have a think about where you want those points if you haven't already. It looks like they're in. So do you want to say a little bit about the skills of Jamie?
So, having to look after her sister, I think she has really good empathy for people. Definitely a lot of charm and heart because she is a musician, so she's working on her stage presence. And I think also some good body skills because she wants to be able to move around on stage when she gets famous.
Okay. Yep. You've got a couple more points. You can add one more. You can add a single point to one of the ones that you don't already have if they're not part of your rocker type. But I'll leave you with that just now, and we can move on and find out a little bit more about one of our other characters. Who have we got left?
go
We've got
next.
Lloyd. Russ is next. Excellent, Russ.
Hi, I'm going to be playing Caroline Williams. She's Australian. Her mother was from Scotland, but was married an Australian guy, and then got a job working for the Loop again, and moved back to Scotland. She's probably not super thrilled about the move, but she's just kind of had to roll with it. Because left a lot of stuff behind, I guess. So she's 12. She has an older sister and a younger sister. Maybe I'll play them later on. I don't know. And I went with popular kid for her, kind of like archetype or kid type or whatever. So she's got a few in body, or 2 in body, 2 in tech, 5 in heart, and 3 in mind. And her birthday is the 7th of October.
All right, 7th October. I'm in there. There you go. Right, birthday. Yeah, cool. Okay. That leaves Bunny or Lloyd.
I can go.
I can go next. Oh, if you want to go, Bunny.
Go for it, Bunny.
My character isn't as flashed out as everybody else's, but my character's name is Rune Sæter Andersen. He is Norwegian and has moved to Scotland with his mother, which I figured has either remarried and is working not directly with the Loop, but somewhere that has to do with that industry. He's a troublemaker, and things aren't going very well at home. So he likes to be out and about and try and stay away from home. He's 12 years old, and he drags around his skateboard everywhere.
What a good choice. What a good thing to do. I like it in such a modern time as well, with so many new car parks and so many new railings and stairs, and probably there's a bit of a skate crowd there as well, actually. So it may be that he's got some. So interesting. When is Rune's birthday?
February 2nd, have I decided.
Okay. And he's a bit younger, just a year. But talks a good talk. Have you thought about where the attributes that he has will be placed? So you've got body, tech, heart, and mind to distribute those initially with.
I would guess a lot of the points would go into body since he's using his skateboard a lot.
Yeah.
He might be good at tech, but I'm not entirely sure where, how many points should go where. Yeah, I need to look a little bit more into that.
Okay. Well, as we're going through tonight, initial, if you go up to the grey circle with the white eye in there, and click onto that, and then at that point you can either search for something specifically, or if you go down to rules, rules will give you some of the different skills that are there, and they actually give you quite a lot of helpful information. The Roll20 module is broken up quite nicely. And you can get access to everything there, and you can also go just into kid types as well. And so you said there was a troublemaker.
Yeah.
The key skills, for example, there are given as force, sneak, and lead. And I like the fact that the default picture given in the manual is the child with
Yeah.
a hook and a bit of chain on it, swinging it around. That's
Yeah.
excellent. Described as a tough guy or girl who never holds back. The classmates are afraid of you, look up to you. The teachers hate you, and everybody is nagging you to be different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. All right. So have a think about where body, tech, heart, and mind might go for Rune. And then you can't go higher than 5, and you need at least 1 in every one.
Okay. Yep.
So yeah, we haven't dealt with luck points yet. Yeah, so you've got 12 to distribute, but you've got extra luck. I think that's how it will work, because luck is 15 minus your age. So you'll get more luck points than the older kids. And as you get older, you lose a luck point and you gain another.
You get to
another
go
point
first.
there.
Yes.
How luck works, right? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll go into that in a bit. But yes, okay. So Lloyd, while Rune is flashing out there, what's your character called, and where do they fit within this so far?
Alec Bateman is an American import. His parents came over as scientific advisors for the construction of the loop. So he's kind of a bit of a smart aleck, because he's kind of had to grow up with a sort of like very regimented, sort of high parental expectations to do their sort of scientific upbringing.
Okay.
So he's kind of more I guess he uses like his brain to sort of get himself into or out of situations. So sort of focusing more on mind, and then tech, not so much the body or the heart.
Okay.
I may rejig it depending on how those actually describe.
Yeah. All right. And in terms of date of birth, have you do you think about that?
6th of November.
Okay, I'll take that in. 6. Okay. I should point out that I'm not asking this just because it's an arbitrary thing. The game does have rules. Yes, the cake is that you lose one of your luck points and you gain another attribute point. So there is a mechanical aspect to the date, and it depends. It depends how quickly the story progresses, if we see people's birthdays or not, and that's kind of coming up to what we do. What you guys get up to.
Adult is so hard. So many negative luck points.
That's it. Right, so we've gone through the first stages. I'm going to go back to. I'm going to go back to Mark, to some old pirate there. You've been looking at Martin, and he seems to be getting on okay. Have you thought about where his skills are? What actually counts for his skills?
Yeah, well, I've got it down as the bookworm archetype at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So he's gonna be better with the more intellectual things than the physical.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at the moment, I've got him as move, because every kid wants to climb trees, right?
Oh yeah.
Of 1.
He's just not good at it.
Yeah. I've got program, so he can, because he knows stuff. He's read stuff. He can do a little bit of the techie stuff. So that's at 1. Calculate is also well. That's at 2. He's slightly better at that. And I need to check that now. Because am I allowed to do that with the bookworm? Can't remember. I'll have to check that out.
Calculate, investigate, and comprehend are your 3 that you can.
Okay, so that's why it's at 2. Yeah, that's all right then. Investigate at 3. And comprehend at 3.
Okay. All right. Now, along with all of these skill points, when we create our kid, we also have items. And items can be useful, it tells us, to overcome trouble. They can give you extra bonuses. So it gives the example of a skateboard, but we have a skateboard wielder here. A skateboard is a blunt instrument. It can sorely damage anything it comes in connection with. So that's the thing. But they are there to help. So we've got an iconic item. Have you had to think about what that might be?
I've had a thought, and I came up with nothing.
Okay.
As yet, but I mean, this doesn't have to be like an iconic 80s item, does it? It could be anything. So it could be like maybe a battered copy of H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds or something like that, right?
Yeah, totally. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
I was kind of leaning towards that, but I wasn't sure about it had to be an 80s item. So that's
No,
what
it
I'm
doesn't
kind of
have
aiming for.
Yeah. It could be an 80s reprint. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or it's there. Now, did you give Martin a problem?
His problem is, this is a bit of an odd one. His mum disappeared while at work. And some of the other kids have told him it's because that she didn't love him anymore.
Just went out for a packet of cigarettes.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Okay. And the pride?
He's resilient. Yeah, he's really.
Okay.
He won't ever stay down. I'm thinking,
No.
like the old Steve Rogers thing in Captain America, the first one.
Yeah. I should point out that if anybody doesn't want to give their pride away to the group, then they do not have to, and you can plead to keep it silent. You don't have to give it away.
Right, I want you all to forget what I just said.
Sorry, what did you say?
Huh? Everybody except Lloyd, who I know never listens to a word I say anyway. Oh, bastard.
You're the bookworm, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, okay. So that's cool. We've got problem, we've got drive, and we've got pride. We'll leave it there just now, and we'll come back and we'll start to form the relationships between the other kids in the group once we've been round this round of 3 questions here. Okay, so fellow, if Jamie has got some sort of iconic item, what did you pick for that?
Electric guitar.
Awesome. Good choice. Also potentially useful as a blunt instrument. Who knows?
Yeah. Not that I've tested that theory, but
Not quite as resilient as a skateboard, perhaps. But yes, that is there. You can flesh out color and style and all that kind of stuff at your leisure. In terms of a problem, is there anything that you want to share? Can you tell us now about the problem, or do you want to let it unfold during the session?
I think I'll let it unfold during the session.
Okay. The drive? Is that again?
Yeah. Looking after my little sister is my top drive.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah, so people would know that about you. They would know that you were conscientious there. Excellent. And then finally, pride. Again, it could be a secret. It could be something that everybody knows, or it could be a secret that you keep to yourself.
Everybody would know. It's my guitar playing.
So yeah, if it ever is an open mic night, you're right up there.
Yep. I'll even sit there and strum it without being plugged into an amp.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Who's up next? Russ?
Hi. So I basically Caro hates secrets. I had that for her drive, and her pride is basically that she just wants to know everything about everyone.
Okay. And is that also the problem, or is it kind of similar to that, or are you going to keep that one stum?
I mean, she doesn't like secrets, so I guess we're like here. But she's basically got a crazy aunt living in her basement. So I just went with one of the pre-gen ones. I could probably go and change that at some point, but we might just roll with this for the time being.
Yeah. Cool. Bunny?
Yep.
So again, nothing. You don't have to divulge this now. You can let it roll out in the story for others to work out if you want to. Being a troubled, angsty young skater that you might be, but is there a problem, a drive, and a pride that you want to share, or are you going to let that one?
I will share the drive, and I'll do anything to get away from home. And I would leave it at that. I think. Yeah.
Lloyd, any thoughts on?
I'm still not quite sure. Like, I think probably given what I've got so far, I may tweak it, like after session. But like, I think for what I've got, the idea so far is, I guess Computer Geek is probably the better fit.
So you're gonna your drive is to just be the biggest geek around, is it?
Yeah, I don't know, because I think that's something like I don't find one that quite fits my idea, so I might have to do a bit more research on like the abilities and skills and stuff. But
sure.
Yeah, I think it's a peer pressure because it could be that because of the pressure from his parents that he's trying to make his own name for himself rather than like be what they want him to be or whatever.
Yeah. So I mean, that could be two sides of the same coin, couldn't it? The problem could be his parents, but the drive is just trying to, drive out there and walk out alone. Yeah, and pride as well.
The smartest kid.
Yeah.
Because he's gifted. So I think that's the thing. He's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder, regardless.
Yeah. And an item? Do you have anything?
I mean, because it's the 80s, I was like, oh, a computer would be quite cool because they'd be probably quite expensive and bulky and like, I don't know, but like, I don't know. I think I'm going to just go for the toy lightsaber because hopefully I can make my own sound effect.
No, ZX Spectrum.
Commodore 64 or 16 or something like that. Yeah, possible. All right then. So I think in terms of the basic setup of the characters there, and we've covered the age, birthday, attributes, the starting scores. We talked a little bit about luck points. If you haven't already, your luck points should be 15 minus your age. And you can add them in the sort of right-hand corner. You can tick boxes, and then as you uncheck them, as you use them, you can uncheck them. When you do turn a year older, your maximum number of luck points is permanently reduced by 1. We looked at skills, and yeah, so in terms of skills, in terms of fitting them into your characters, we can have a think about that, and I'm quite happy to revisit it once we've actually had a game and we've got a sense of what we can do with them, and maybe you think that, you know, from an RP perspective, something would be better than others. So yeah, don't worry about coming up with ideas between sessions, and let me know. It's not an issue. We looked at items, the iconic item there. It's possible to find new items. It just depends. Some items are more powerful than others. But also, you can also train creatures, apparently. That's also a thing the game has there as well. So depending on what you find in the mystery, you might benefit from that, possibly. It is also possible to lose items. So yes, between mysteries, all items are lost except the iconic item. Inventions break, domesticated animals run away, they die. The police collect the runaway robot. If you want to keep an item that you found, you can choose to replace your iconic item with that one. Yeah, problems, drive, and pride. We've got some good examples of there. So now it comes to relationships.
I hate you all. I'm kidding.
You should
just
define...
playing himself.
The easiest roleplay.
You should define your relationships to the other kids in the group. This is best done, it says, with the other players. So here we are. And this idea is that none of you should be enemies, I'm afraid to say, Lloyd. That's out. That's ruled out. You're not allowed.
Yes, Mark.
Not allowed.
No, we can't start as enemies, you mean?
It is fun to have tension in the group.
I do apologise for this thing. Sorry.
Cat stream.
Kitty.
Yeah.
The relationships can change as well as between the mysteries and how they affect you. So there's nothing set in stone. Have you got any thoughts about what your relationships will be? You're a group of... I'm seeing the similar age and one younger one. So you're all 13. So you're all in school together.
Mm.
Maybe some kind of after-school club. Well, I mean, you could be, because that's the thing. Well, that's the thing. Because the thing is, you have that kind of after-school thing where, like, you know, when your parents are too busy working, they come and like ever pick you up when school finishes, so you stay for like a few hours afterwards or whatever.
Ah, yeah.
So we're all the ones that the kid. Yeah, your parents are just too busy working.
Yeah, I mean that'd work, right?
Maybe because then, yeah, that's how you tend to get like a random group of kids becoming friends. That's cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that works.
If you're in the same class as well, then there's a good chance you spend a lot of time with each other.
I don't know if we've got one. I mean, it depends how much younger. I didn't pay that much attention.
1 year younger.
Yeah, I'm.
It
1
could
year
still be in
younger.
the same year, depending on when their birthday was. Who wants to work that shit out?
Oh, Kara's
Yeah.
12.
Thanks for volunteering.
I'm not. No. Yeah.
February's the cutoff in Scotland. But let's just say let's just keep it easy, right? Let's just all keep it easy. And the idea of your after-school club is a good one, if everybody's up for that. And those of you that will work this out, but you can also be in the same class as well, so that you see each other during the day.
I think Rune and Jamie would get along really well because we're both kind of like borderline troublemakers.
Oh yes, definitely.
And I'm
gonna adopt Marty as my protege and take him under my wing.
I kind of figure that makes sense anyway, because we're both kind of smart kids. You're the geek, and now it's going to lead to a whole other discussion. The difference between geek and nerd. Now, I always figure that geeks are people that are smart and know stuff that's useful, and nerds are the people that just know stuff that's useless.
I think from what I remember, I think like nerds or whatever were the ones who just get overly excited about something obscure.
Yeah,
and geeks are the ones who get like a bit anal about like
book
specific
smart.
pieces of knowledge.
So I guess I would say that that Alex would be a geek, and maybe Martin is a nerd. Maybe.
Who wants to be my guitar tech?
Yeah,
I'd imagine
I
all
was tempted to like rejig mine a bit to be more of a rocker. I do like the rocker more than the other archetypes,
Ooh.
but yeah, we'll see. I wouldn't mind. I'd be the guitar tech.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I think Rune and Caro would be in the same class together because she's also 12.
Okay.
Yeah. That will make sense.
Yeah. So, if your birthdays, for those of you at the point of the adventure starting and at the end of school, you'll have a reason that this is the reason that you'll hang out, because you know each other through school, you know each other through music, you know each other through not maybe liking so much hanging around with the younger kids the way that some of the other ones do, and maybe you find a bit more solace. Possibly some of you might know each other just because you live on the same street as well. It may be that's a thing. So like the age difference could just be that you're neighbours with somebody who's that who gets you into that group, and that's how you fell into with each other. It could also be that you're not you're all relatively new to the area. I don't know how long you've all been there, but your parents are certainly possibly talk to each other. Who knows? Maybe, possibly. So there's things that we can explore later down the line. But that's good. That gives us a starting point as to why you're all hanging out together in summer. Okay, so the next thing that you have to do is have a quick think, and please do write this in your bios in the sheet, is 2 relationships to NPCs. So non-player characters that we can connect to the location, and this sort of the mystery landscape that I've proposed. These NPCs are meant to be a connection between your kids, and the strange things that will start happening. And these relationships also help you to set scenes from everyday life. So we haven't quite touched on what exactly a scene is yet, but I think everybody's getting the idea, if not already have it. There's going to be some time where it's just your character, hopefully together with others, doing something in their normal life. The examples that are given for NPC relationships related to everyday life are that somebody wants to knock you down, a particular person doesn't trust you with secrets, somebody bullies you, you've got a neighbour that just walks in and helps himself to all the food and then walks out again. Somebody is making life difficult for you by spreading lies. Somebody else just cannot ever see you doing the right thing. Like, no matter what you do, it's never right. Somebody was your true friend, but you were betrayed by them. You're out to get
Marty,
revenge.
how could you?
You're out to get revenge on somebody. You had relationship with somebody. You maybe fancy somebody. Maybe you'd like to have a relationship with them. So those are all possibilities that you can have with these NPCs. So have a think about a couple of those. and about who they might be. And again, if you decide that you want to change them afterwards, don't worry about it. We'll definitely be able to do that. So if there's anything that you can come up with there, please do write it into your bio on the sheet so I can take a look at that as well. Notes, rather, sorry. They're called notes here. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so has anybody got any questions? Anybody got any thoughts? Does anybody want any help? Or does anybody want to just suggest an idea or bounce stuff off? Or is everybody relatively comfortable with that?
Yeah, it's had to have everything.
Yeah. I think I'm okay with it. Haven't thought of any relationships or whatsoever, but we'll get around to that. Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh man, one of the relations. He took my virginity, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Why is there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway.
That's disturbing. It is disturbing.
Yeah.
I glossed over that one. So.
Yeah.
Anyone have a crush on their teacher?
Yeah, everyone, the same teacher. That.
I feel like that's more disturbing than the virginity one, to be honest.
Having a crush on your teacher.
Well, the potential
I
for
see that.
It seems to happen often enough.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah, it happens often enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess. And
so even if it's rough it in. If you want to go back, change it, or add more details, then you totally can. But try and get something down there. Even just a couple of made-up names would be enough to get you started. Just so there's something in there. It'll help you to flesh that out. So while you're having a think on that one, there is one more of an NPC that you need to come up with. And this one is probably easier, because you've already mentioned these kind of things. It's an anchor. This is somebody who you can go to for support, comfort, and care. It could be a friend, it could be a parent, it could be a teacher, a neighbour. It cannot be another kid. So in this case, it cannot be one of this group.
Right.
But it can be children. It just can't be one of this group.
Okay.
But ideally, it's it lends itself to suggest that it could be a grown up, maybe, but it doesn't have to be. It can be a friend. The concept of this is to try to help you with conditions. If you spend a scene with your anchor, you can actually heal all of your conditions. There are other ways to heal conditions as well. It's at this point I'll mention that I will not ever be in a situation to outright kill your character. Your character cannot die. This game does not allow for character death. It is expressly forbidden in the rules. That doesn't mean that bad stuff doesn't happen to them. And if lots of bad things happen to you, you become very unstable and very incapable of doing anything. The conditions go through being relatively mild to start with. Upset, scared, exhausted, and injured. I think the reason that they're called relatively mild is because the fifth one is broken. And
Right?
if you're broken, that's when something really bad has happened. You are mentally or physically hurt, and you will automatically fail all of your dice rolls until you do something about it.
Oh, yikes.
And one of the things that you can do about it is speak with your anchor, or have a scene with your anchor and describe. There's one more way that I'm aware of, and there may be others yet. So yeah, your anchor would potentially feature in a scene that you have. I have mentioned, and for those at home, I have mentioned in Discord as well, that there is experience points in this game. and you are able to rate skills with the experience points. And there's no hard and fast like rules for this. It reminds me just that I'll ask you questions at the end of the session, and you answer, and you get a point for each one. You can get there's experience points to get there. That's another way of boosting your character. Favorite song, guys? Did everybody cover their favorite song? Did you all have a think about that? Did you all have a think about what your character's favorite song is? No, one was mentioned. Rune mentioned.
Okay.
No,
Oh,
no, it wasn't Rune. It was Jamie. Jamie, Bello, you mentioned Jamie's favorite song. Who are they? What's the band?
Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. Bad
Good
Reputation is the song.
Ah, right.
Classic.
Yeah. Yeah. So, rockers, rock and roll. Excellent. Okay. Anybody else with their favorite song?
I had an idea for one, Martin. I don't know if the time works. But his favorite song is gonna be "Against All Odds" by Phil Collins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know a lot of Phil Collins songs. I'll know this one.
You should know this one. Yeah.
I will know this one.
And the reason being, it kind of. I think it's gonna be one of those things. It's his favorite song, but it's difficult for him to listen to because it's describing his situation with his mum at the moment.
What a voice! That's the 80s right there, isn't it?
I'm so tempted to go with Rick Astley.
I think you cannot, because I think that song was released in
Under Pressure
1987.
by Queen and David Bowie. Yeah, depends when in the 80s we are.
Yeah, I mean,
we're in 86, so you're okay.
Oh,
Phil
okay,
Collins
I'm
was
okay with mine. Right, okay, I'm
84.
84.
But I think
Under Pressure was 1981, so that's fine.
Yeah.
There you go. Excellent.
Next. We should be putting links to these songs in chat, shouldn't we? So people can
Oh
go
yeah,
and
we could
listen
do
to
that. Yeah, go on, we could do that. Because we're not allowed to play them on stream because we'll get muted. But
Yeah.
we can certainly link them. Here we go.
Mm.
Which one is that, Lloyd, that you just put in?
It's Under Pressure.
Under Pressure.
We should just make it. We should just make it like a wild card.
This
It may or may not be Rick Astley.
This one's Phil Collins. I just posted for.
Thank you.
Because I had that one up.
Oh, Sledgehammer, that's a good choice. That is a great choice.
Bros. Oh no. Was that really the 80s?
I haven't heard that name.
It was. That was a bit later.
Wow.
I kind of imagine
I
it
think-
was later on.
I think I was in primary 7 when Bros
88.
got big.
Yeah. Thanks, Nick. 88.
88.
Yeah.
That's a little bit beyond because we're in 86.
Nick's reliving the 80s, I think. They've been on the music train for like the last.
And
half
you
an
know
hour.
what? That's a good thing.
I have put a list of hits into the 80s reference section of this game. If you open that up, then it does have a number of up to 1986 songs. So if you are struggling for one, there's a whole bunch of links in there they'll take you through. The Power of Love, Jennifer Rush, Karma Chameleon by Culture Club, Tainted Love, Soft Cell, 81.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Eye of the Tiger, 82. Stand and Deliver. Stand and deliver. Whoa, your money or your life. I remember that song, obviously.
Yeah.
81, that was. Bloody hell.
Jesus.
And possibly one of the best film theme tunes ever written, Ghostbusters by Ray Parker Jr. in '84. Brilliant.
Yeah.
We'll not talk about Black Lace in the same year.
What about I did think Joe Dolce, Shut Up in Your Face. That was always
Shut up in your face.
Yeah.
Right. Excellent.
Any of you can choose that, that's fine.
Yeah. So any who have we not heard from for their favourite song? Who's not given us theirs yet?
I haven't quite decided yet, but I'm very. I think I might go with Aha, Take On Me, because it's a Norwegian band, so it fits. I
It was
posted the link
acceptable in the 80s.
That's a brilliant song.
It is a brilliant song. I kind of like
a great video as well.
It's
Sun
very
Shines
good.
on TV as well. Really like that one.
Well, that'll actually be quite modern then, because that was 85?
85? Yeah.
Wow. Excellent.
Was
that
it?
video.
Yeah.
I remember
Yes,
trying to
that
sing that
no.
high. Yeah, that
Jesus.
high. Yep.
Jesus H, yeah. It's a tricky
yeah,
one.
Yeah. I think falsetto's required for that one. I don't think anybody can hit that normally, but there you go.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. Is that just Russ? Is it? Is that right?
Yeah, probably.
Oh.
Go on, Russ. Tell me why is it Hey Little Girl by Ice House?
I have no idea who.
I don't know what that is either.
And what disturbs you most? That's an Aussie
It's funny
band.
one.
Yeah.
Men with that hat.
Yay!
Wait, was that? Oh, that might be too late. I don't know when that came out.
I
Men
just
with
kind
that
of-
Safety Dance? No, Safety Dance.
Safety Dance is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just kind of figured she was a Madonna fan, but haven't quite narrowed it down yet.
There's a lot of Madonna.
Oh yeah, especially yeah. Well,
There
what about
is.
1986? What's any Madonna song that she released in 1986? It's amazing, isn't it? You type in that and you get her most popular 25 songs within a 2-year period because she recorded that many songs. Wow.
You
here we go.
insinuating she would just jump on whatever the popular Madonna song is.
Yeah, pretty much. But there are also a bunch of them that probably seem a little bit weird for a 12-year-old, so I've sort of been scrolling through them a bit. But yeah.
Into the Groove, that's a classic, 1985.
Cool.
Crazy for You, a bit of a romantic kind of ballad, I think.
Is that around the
Into the
Who's That Girl period? Wasn't that around? Well, no, it's a bit later, wasn't it? That was.
La Isla Bonita, another. Papa Don't Preach. Is that at all appropriate? Would she latch onto that one?
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I figured I'd just kind of...
Cool. So Madonna, anyway.
Yeah.
Not good. I'm sure that's 1987. I'm going to Google it.
Well, Cyndi Lauper. She'd probably be someone else. Basically just that sort of...
Girls just want to have fun? Is that...
Yeah.
When did that come out?
Rick Astley released...
I forgot Live Aid was that old. This was 86 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, 1987, January, I think. 1987, possibly. So you could actually it might. Anyway, right. Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So we've got our favourite tunes, more or less worked out, and the only other thing that you all now need to think about is a hideout. What would be your kind of concept for a place that you would all hang out? Now, I'll give you a
Under
bit
a
of a
bridge
set.
somewhere.
Yeah, so the river that runs through the main town next to where the loop is set in a valley, and the river runs right down the middle of the town. A lot of the town is spilled out over the valley edges and is up on the hills. There are about 5 bridges that cross the river with the roads, so it is possible. It could, but it's also a rural area. So when you get outside the towns, there's lots of forests, there's lots of farm buildings, there's lots of abandoned buildings. There's places that you could get to quite easily. There's factories. There are wooded areas within the town as well. So yeah, there's a reasonable amount. So under a bridge, it could certainly be possible.
I like an abandoned building too. That sounds good.
Like an abandoned
Yeah.
factory would be cool.
Yeah.
Well,
And dangerous.
How about and I'll give you this because it is part of the setting, an abandoned fire station.
Oh, that'd be
Oh.
cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
With
Dibs on the
diamonds
pole.
and everything. Yes. Jesus Christ, sold. Yeah.
Yes.
If it doesn't have a pole, I'm going back to the bridge.
I'm right with you.
It has a pole. Now this place
Is there like a
has
cranky
got
siren?
lots of. It has a pole. It is dilapidated. It is part of an old fire station, along with a whole bunch of other old buildings in the centre of town that haven't yet been demolished, but are due to be demolished and have something lovely and new built upon them because it's right in the centre of town. Probably an old folks' home or something, but who knows? The fire station is next to a bed and breakfast, which is, keeps its business going relatively well, and it's quite close to the high street, where the main shopping is done. There are alleys that run up the back and through a small opening underneath and in the buildings that then opens up into the high street. It's also near the health centre as well. There's a small,
Which is
local
handy
health centre.
for those accidents that are bound to happen in an abandoned fire station.
There's a lot of glass because all the windows have been smashed in. There's a lot of metal and just dumped. It had previously been used by somebody locally as a garage. So there are a number of old tools that are rusted still there. So yeah, you could kind of set yourself up in there.
Sounds great.
Cool. Yeah. I'm sold, yeah.
You can get there and you can heal any conditions that you pick up in this place, but you have to have one of your group there as well. There has to be another one of the kids present. Yeah. If you put yourselves into trouble in that scene, which you can do, then you don't necessarily heal. But you all share that hideout, all 5 of you. That's the place that you go to.
Who found it?
If any
I don't
of
think it
your
would have been.
I
If
feel
any of
like
your parents-
Rune would have found it.
Yeah, I was
Because
kind
Rune's
of
always
thinking
looking
that
for
he
a
would
way to get
definitely
away
be the
from
type
home.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
get some skating done in there as well. That's possible. Yeah, cool. All right then. So we're just about there. We're just about done with the full creation of this. Before we start the game, I have a number of questions for you. And I would like you to answer them as honestly as you can from the perspective of your kids. I'm going to
Sounds
give
a little
you.
ominous, doesn't it?
I'm going to give you a question each, and
Okay.
I'd like you to have a think about that. And if you want to just have a think, I'll go on to the next person. So I'm going to start. I'm just going to work my way up the monitor. So Mark in the bottom left corner for me. I am going to ask you In what way has your problem gone from bad to worse lately?
Ooh. I'm thinking maybe it's affected his in some way.
Affected his what, sorry?
And maybe it's affected his dad in some way. And his dad's maybe become more distant because of it. Or is that
Okay.
because we kind of is that fair? Because I mean that's kind of the point of the game anyway, right?
Yeah, well, he's become more
So maybe
distant,
that doesn't work. I don't know.
So, but what specifically? Yeah, what specifically? Is it look like it's not going to get any better? Like it looks like it's on a trajectory. It's not just like a one-off. It's actually a real feeling. I don't know. Is that?
Yeah, I think so, and I think Martin's probably quite keen to impress his dad. His dad has become more absorbed in his work and has less time for Martin than he ever did before.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, something like that. Is that right?
Yeah. That's fine. That's totally fine. Velo.
Same question?
No. What? What do you dream about at night?
Oh.
Well, what does Jamie dream about at night?
I might have to think about that.
Okay, come back to you. Lloyd, what's your experience with robots?
Nothing major. Like, just more of maybe like toys and like this. I don't know, maybe like small things that his parents would have brought home from work to tinker around out of hours. Whereas, well, the anchor I chose actually was his neighbor, who's like a retired sort of crackpot scientist. So he probably would be tinkering with stuff in his backyard. It's somewhere between Mr. Wilson from Home Improvement and Doc Brown from Back to the Future.
God. Okay, you'll never see his face.
Yeah, exactly. Just his eyes and above.
Russ, what does Carol think about sports?
I think she probably would just consider it too dirty and not really something that she's super interested in. She's maybe crashing on like a rugby player or something, but like not something she'd play herself.
Yeah. Okay. Bunny, what is the furthest that Rune has travelled away from what is now your hometown?
That's a great question for that character.
That's a good question.
Isn't it?
Oh. I like to think that he might have snuck on a bus and just taken it as far as he could get, but I don't know how far he would have got with that until he either got in trouble or decided that he needed to get home because there wasn't anything on the end of this route.
Yeah, so the bus station is in the centre of town. It's near the main road, and it will go to either local areas or it will take you up to the cities. There is also occasionally a bus that goes down the loop road and then onto the English border, and it will pass through the border with England, and into the forests over there. So you can cut locally to other small towns, or you could go up to the city of Edinburgh, and then you've got all the options up there. So, how brave would
he might have gone over to the other cities, but I don't think he would have crossed the border. That's too far. He Yeah.
I mean, would he have? Sorry, I'm asking questions here.
Yeah.
Would he have just kept going, or did somebody kind of discover him and send him back? How far would he actually be willing to go? 'Cause you kind of say that
Yeah,
you wouldn't dare go across the border.
Yeah, I don't think he would have left because of his friend group.
Okay.
Those people are like the people that he keeps him there, but him taking a bus to the city or another town just to get away from home or go exploring,
You could do that in a day. You could get up to Edinburgh, do some skateboarding, and come back down again, no problem at all in a day. So that's cool.
Yeah. Days worth of traveling is probably the furthest he would do.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Right. So another question for each of you, and I'll start with Bunny this time. What does your room look like?
Oh. I will imagine we live in quite a poorly kept house. So there might not be much of anything on the walls. Pretty rundown beds. Probably a desk. But, filled with holes and scratch marks and pen marks and whatnot. Probably boxes of stuff everywhere, really. Not very untidy. Probably looks a bit dirty. Yeah. Curtains are questionable. Yep.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Bunny, did you have a think about... Sorry, let me try that again. Russ, what is Caro's favourite food?
Strawberry milkshake.
Cool. Is there one particular place that always make it just right, or is it just a thing in general that strawberry milkshakes are always cool?
I think she really likes them, but she's probably really missing this one strawberry milkshake place that she used to go to back in Melbourne, and now she's in Scotland and is homesick for that kind of experience, I guess.
Cool. There are a couple of likely places that you get that from. One is the Brown Sugar, which is a cafe, and the other one is the Hot Pot, which is a relatively dingy place that has arcade machines at the back. And you can, so there. So that's possible milkshakes there. Yep, cool.
Yay.
Okay. Lloyd.
Yes.
What does Alex think about school?
I think he kind of likes being able to mix with normal people, I guess. Because that's it can be that kind of thing where his parents and everyone around him is kind of very sort of focused around that those sort of scientific just science in general, that he it's kind of like a bit of some cases a bit of a breath of fresh air, being able to hang out with normal people.
Yeah. Okay.
And Marty.
Cool. Vel, did you have a think about the dream thing?
Yes.
For Jamie?
So I think Jamie's dreams would be a mix of good and bad dreams. I think the good dreams would be becoming a rock star and going on tour. And bad dreams would be mixed feelings with like not being able to protect her sister, but desperately wanting to.
Okay. Yeah, so a bit of anxiety coming through there, perhaps. All right. Okay. The last thing of all that I forgot about, but it's there. I'll do it now. Quick fire questions for the group. Who in the group has the most to say?
Probably Caro.
Ooh.
Silence.
Yeah, no one.
Everyone, the first person to talk up actually wins.
I think it was Russ. It was Russ.
I mean,
Russ wins.
Yay!
I mean, I have to be somewhat talkative to be a smart ally,
Yes.
but I
That's
don't
a
mind
good point.
being not the most talkative person.
I
Okay.
feel like Caro would be always trying to like find out stuff and gossiping with people and just kind of be fairly bubbly. So maybe that's her.
When did you get to know each other? Like, how long? I guess that's kind of like how long have you known each other for? That's dependent on how long you've been in at the loop for, isn't it?
Mm.
I say like maybe I don't know, we could make it simple about being like the start of the school year, so like 5 or 6 months, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or
Well, I
the-
mean,
or the
I
year
guess.
before
Oh
that,
wait,
maybe?
it depends because it's the yeah, because I forget the UK schools are sort of
Yeah,
shifted by
August,
like 6 months.
July, August. Yeah. So yeah, it could be like a year and a
Like
half
9
or
months?
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, does it fit in like?
We're in June.
anybody- Yeah, and very end of June, going into 1st of July. So but you've broken up for school, and you are on your first day of summer holidays together. Hanging out.
Make a flag for our hideout.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Okay, so somewhere, so you all agreed it's under a year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What makes you laugh? What makes you laugh together?
Hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know, what was comedy
This is
like in
one.
the 80s? Was slapstick a thing?
Yeah, the thing about comedy in the 80s, it wasn't funny.
Maybe we we'll laugh at it in an ironic way.
Actually, no, I think there'd be a lot of things in there that would shock a few people today and think, how the hell did they get away with that?
Yeah, maybe
there'd
that's
be a lot of that.
So maybe you laugh at things on telly. You share some television, share cartoons and telly.
Yeah, so they're sort of silly, like was Airplane in the 80s or 90s? I don't know.
It was
Yeah,
kind of
80s,
like
yeah,
over the
it was.
top comedies, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll go with that just now.
know.
Does your group hold any secrets between you that you've actually, you've got between you that are just like things that you've done or things that you do? I mean, obviously the hideout's a secret because that's. But have you got anything of that kind of ilk? Have you had any previous with each other doing things and notable experiences?
I could imagine that Rune has definitely been out and got something to tinker with or like make something in the fire station. I don't know what, but
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
So you
that
share
could be.
Yeah.
You have a secret object.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could be like with my what my cousins used to do, where they'd take stuff, their leftover construction sites, like the old work lights and stuff, and then sort of like
Yeah.
figure out, investigate them and figure out how to like repair them and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Just random things. It doesn't have to be important yet.
I like to find treasures in alleyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent.
Treasures.
Okay. See, we'll think about that one. But yeah, it's cool that you've got something there. Is there anybody who doesn't hang about with you that you kind of know wants to, but you kind of don't let them in? Is there anybody like that? Is there somebody you can think about that one? It doesn't have to be any.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for Lloyd. Yes, I was waiting for that.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't want to leave you hanging. So
They're low-hanging fruit. Well done.
Does anyone?
I mean, you're already hanging with us, so it couldn't be you.
I don't know.
anyone-
I don't know.
Other geeky kids, maybe?
I don't think Kara would want a younger sister hanging around.
I was wondering
Yeah.
about Jamie's younger sibling. Maybe. I mean, I don't know how much younger.
The two young kids.
Yeah.
Well, you might have like something like that kind of whole setup where, like, I don't know, one of the popular kids is suspicious. Try to figure out what we're up to, or some other kid is, I guess. With our secret hideout.
Yeah, it wouldn't
Who
be one of
gets
the
the
popular
most-
kids.
Do any of you get the most mocking? Is there any, like, is there kind of like one of the group that is the butt of more jokes than anybody?
Going for it, Lloyd.
I have no idea. I have no I have no comment I would wish to say at this time.
We'll go with that. And in a similar aim,
If they wish to volunteer themselves.
Does anybody guide the activity of the group more so than others? Is there one individual who comes up with the ideas and kind of suggests what is going to be done? Do they take that sort of leadership role? Is there anyone that's got that sort of gumption that can cajole or otherwise?
And
get
I kind of feel like
situations
we kind of, because we all have these like very like specific interests. So I think of like Jamie found something cool in like one of her like alleyway explorations or whatever. Then they would like be like, "Oh guys, come, let's look at this," or like
Yeah.
Or if
Yeah.
Rune finds something cool that while they were tinkering or whatever, then they would
Mhm.
like sort of drive that rather than having like a single leader.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the other thing, I suppose, is if Rune's the troublemaker, are we kind of afraid, a little bit scared of Rune? So we may be inclined to follow what Rune says because.
I mean, I'm up for it.
Well, I
don't know
kind
how
of
you feel
look
about that.
at him as obviously that will have to be up to each kid, but I feel like Rune will never go out of his way to get into trouble on purpose. The trouble is usually because he is very defensive of his friends and want to make sure that the group is secure and stuff, and will out himself to keep others away.
He's the kind of guy that would take the rap for something for one of the gang. Is that the?
Yeah.
Because people expect it of him, so he'll just put himself, say it was me, and.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
Okay, nice. All right.
Um,
Okay, so yeah.
Other
And the
than that,
last
I mean, there's always,
yeah.
I mean, there is always Alex as well. Alex, he's the gift. He's got the gift of the gab, right? So.
Yeah.
One would hope.
It kind of suggests that maybe he talks everybody into doing stuff as well. Maybe.
Yeah.
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 He might
I
be
told you, I'm the
like
one who
the
gets Rune into
top one
trouble.
Yeah, talks everybody into doing stuff because he knows that Rune will take the rap for it.
I think Kara's wanting to know everything about everybody would probably get her into a fair bit of trouble too.
Yeah.
Would she? Do you think she's a leader type?
Probably not, but I think she'd just sort of be like, yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily think she'd be the leader. I think she'd probably be more the butt of all the jokes because she's a little bit prissy, I guess.
Okay.
Okay. Is there anything that your group is not talking about, like the elephant in the room?
There's actually an elephant living in the fire station.
There isn't.
Yes, that one. I don't know. Did everybody have parents or like come from a semi-wealthy background?
Well, I'm kind of wondering, could it be something to do with Marty's mother, who has vanished after going out to work one day?
That could definitely be it.
Yeah.
That could be a thing not to talk about.
And there are people that are kind of saying maybe she'd run off with somebody else, or I don't know.
We could maybe make the fire stations like a no adult zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't talk about them. We don't acknowledge them.
Yeah.
All of their parent problems are just like they're left at the door.
Yeah.
It was like a safe space.
Okay, last question. What do you like to do?
Same thing we'd like to do every night, Nikki.
Go and get chips.
Fish and chip.
Yeah,
With
like
gravy
go hanging out at the corner store for too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deep fried
think-
Mars bar.
Hadn't been
no.
invented yet. Hadn't been invented.
Have they not?
yet.
Oh, come on! Surely not.
I
Really?
thought it was like 60s. I don't know. We could
Ooh.
invent the deep fried Mars bar. I mean, how
That's
hard could
it.
it be? Are we
Yeah,
waiting for the
that'd be
Mars bar to be
amazing.
invented first?
The deep fried anything.
Yeah.
hmm.
I guess some kind of like project with all the stuff that I drag in or we drag in would be something to do on the fire station.
Yeah. Well, I mean that would make sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also the kind of the other stuff, like the activities that you have at school as well. I guess you mentioned the after school club, so there's some.
I wouldn't
elements
necessarily
there.
like doing that.
It's true.
That's kind of
well,
that's forced upon.
Speaking of forcing things upon you, we're done.
No.
Oh.
Ah, sweet.
Um,
Time to go back to bed.
If there is anything else that we need to come up with and think about during the break between the end of tonight and the next in 2 weeks' time, then just give me a shout, and we'll change that. It's a good time for a break, and we'll come back in 10 minutes, and we will start our first adventure with our group of kids. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to get started. We're going to take this awesome crew of youngsters out. I'd like to set the scene, if I may. The way that Tales from the Loop works is that everybody gets a chance to define scenes. There's no set order to it per se, and they can or cannot involve other members of the table. The GM, me, also has the opportunity to set scenes as well. And that's what I would like to do, just to get things rolling. I am setting a scene. The scene is of you all on your bikes. You are riding out of town and away from town into the countryside. You have climbed out of the valley, and it is a bit of a slog to get up to the top and onto the flatter parts up out of the hill, but it is a beautiful sunny day. It's the first day of your school holidays. You are out and cycling along these narrow roads. They are surrounded in trees, in fields. There are horses in fields, there are cows and cattle in fields, and there are also crops as well. And the roads themselves, the noise of the birds, the hedgerows, high beech hedges, all the leaves are out, and the trees with their beautiful broad leaves and the sunshine hitting down through them. It's about 11 o'clock, and you are cycling, chatting, talking, and having, generally, I think, a nice time in your company. But we're going to do a little bit of a flashback for each of you. Would anybody like to give a little bit of a scene about what they were up to, either in the day before or the morning of the same day? Does anybody want to offer up a scene and basically just a view on the life of your character in a normal, mundane situation?
I'll start. So Jamie woke up to her parents yelling in the basement. This is pretty commonplace, so Jamie pretty much just woke up, rolled her eyes, laid out on the bed, and started playing her guitar, surrounded by all her music posters and all of that kind of stuff. Just to ignore it.
So is she playing loud music?
Oh yeah. She's plugged into the amp and playing as loud as she can so that her parents know.
Yeah. You don't know when your parents stop arguing because you cannot hear them.
Nope.
You feel a vibration under your feet, which you probably understand means that a door has been slammed somewhere.
Okay. Feeling that vibration, I put my guitar down and I slip over to my little sister's room and peek in on her to see how she's doing.
She's at her desk, and she's doing a bit of drawing. She's got some paper and pencils, and she's doing something.
Okay, I'll walk over and see what she's drawing.
Yeah, and you look down over her shoulder. It seems that she's drawing a very happy scene, bright colours and green grass and a big yellow sun. And she looks up and she says, "This is outside. Outside is much nicer."
I will agree with her and tell her that I think that some flowers would look really nice and point to a specific spot.
And she nods and she thinks about it and holds up her pack of pencils and says, "You pick the colour."
Oh, I will pick purple.
She gets that and she draws purple flowers. And she says, Mum and Dad were fighting again.
I'll say, I know, and I'm going to wrap my arms around her and give her a big hug.
Yeah, she looks really sad. And she cuddles into you.
Oh.
Yeah, it's okay. So that's the scene there. Who else would like to pick a scene and just set the scene for their character?
I can go. Rune wakes up in the morning, God knows when. The house is completely quiet, he can hear neighbor houses yelling and fighting or bickering, or kids playing in the streets, dogs barking, but the house is quiet. He will at some point drag himself up and go down to see if his mother is still home, which is obviously not. And he will check if there's bread and food. He probably eat something, but that's about it. He will probably just hang around until he knows that he's gonna meet anyone else.
Yeah. How much food is in the house? Is it well stocked cupboards?
Oh no, there isn't much.
All right. So, anyone else?
Okay. Kara, I guess, would wake up. She shares a room with her little sister. Kara's side of the room is very girly. Her little sister's side of the room is just covered in horse pictures. And wanders downstairs. Her little sister's in the kitchen, cutting up apples and shoving it into her pocket before running past Kara and out the door, probably on her way to the local stables. Her other older sister is on the phone in the kitchen chatting to her boyfriend and making all sorts of small talk with him. And Kara just kind of rolls her eyes at whatever's going on there and probably just makes herself some cereal, I guess, and sits down. The relative peace of the kitchen, though, is very quickly disturbed by her crazy aunt, who just sort of comes bursting through the door and just knocks everything off the table in a fit of just general insanity, I guess.
Well, she runs in. She's not really very aware of anybody else's presence, and she picks up the cereal that's in front of you that you've been eating, and she looks at it, and she says, "Oh, is this all we've got? Is this all we've got? Is there nothing better to eat in this place?"
Kara just kind of says, "Oh, there's eggs and bacon in the fridge, help yourself."
And she just, she mutters something about the state of this place, and walks out and slams the door behind her, muttering something about going to the coffee pot to get a bacon roll.
Yeah. And I guess Kara would just kind of share a look with her older sister, who's looking a little bit annoyed that her phone call's been interrupted, because I don't know, maybe her partner's long distance and all of a sudden it's just the few minutes that they have to chat together have just been interrupted by this crazy outburst from her aunt. And yeah, I suppose she'd Kara would go and clean up all the kitchen table and, deal with the fact that there's now cereal just dripping on the floor and stuff like that. Before she went and got ready for the day.
Okay. Fire it.
Yeah, you want me to go next?
Go on
then. Okay, so the scene is going to be it's at Martin's house. It's very modern. He's in a kitchen diner. It's all dark wood. It's really, really expensive. And he's at the breakfast table. His dad's sitting there. His dad's got a technical journal laid out on the table in front of him. He's drinking coffee. And there's a housekeeper that they've got. She's kind of busily cleaning away, and nobody's saying anything. It's quite awkward. And so, just as a way to kind of break the tension, Martin, he kind of looks up at his dad, and he quietly says, "They're showing They're showing all 3 Star Trek films back to back on Saturday.
And yeah, he looks down from the paper that he's got in front of him. It's not a newspaper, it's some daisy chain printout type thing. It's got the little rips down the side of it. It's obviously some sort of data that he's looking at. And he looks and he looks at you and says, In Kelso or Gala? And he looks down.
Kelso. I thought maybe we could go.
Yeah. Speak to your mum, will you? Maybe she could.
It'd be a bit
maybe she could run
difficult,
you
Dad.
over.
She disappeared.
Oh yeah. And he just kind of looks. He looks.
Well, she always.
I mean, maybe he did something. Like, what a bastard.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
We'll go with it.
Yeah.
It
You went out for
happened.
cigarettes, it
Yeah.
just disappeared.
Yeah, and he looks. He's just so absent-minded.
Yeah.
He's just so absent-minded that he just wasn't giving it any thought. And he looks and he puts at that point he puts his paper down, and he says, "I'm sorry, son. I'm sorry. I wish she was here. I do. I wish that she. I tell you what. I'll have a word at the office. I can't watch all of them, but see what I can do. All right."
Mm. And Martin, I think he nods. He smiles faintly. He hopes he's gonna honor what he's saying, but deep down he knows it's bullshit. And in the housekeeper, she's kind of clearing up. She knows too, and she just kind of wanders over to Martin. She just ruffles his hair. That's it.
Right.
I mean, I think for mine, I was kind of toying with the idea of that, like, he gets home from school eventually and, like, the door's locked, like, the parents are still just off doing whatever emergencies popped up or whatever work that kind of dragged their attention away.
Does he have a key?
I think that's the thing I was thinking of, like, he doesn't, but then, like, at least he's got, like, the neighbor he can kind of talk to, I guess.
Okay.
But, like, yeah, but I think that's the thing,
Yeah.
it's just kind of the idea that, like, yeah, it's like being, like, they've just sort of forgotten. It's just someone's supposed to be home.
Oh, no, has he not got the key on the bit of string through the letterbox? To let himself in and make himself.
That'd be quite cool.
So yeah, he comes.
Well,
he
they-
arrives. He looks at the door and he tries it, and he looks around. I guess to see if there's any lights on, or is the back door ever open?
I guess not. I think probably not really, because I don't think they're really used to that much. I mean, what you could probably try and do is, yeah, maybe it's that kind of thing where you try to, like, probably try and break into his own house.
Well, I was actually thinking, maybe there's like a way that he always has to try and get in, and his parents don't even think about it anymore. He just
it might be the thing. Maybe, I think it might be the thing that he yeah. I was thinking, like, kind of what I used to do, where you don't lock your bedroom window because you can get in and out on the extension below.
Yeah. So you climb up onto the wall, and you jump up onto the extension, and you climb along the roof. And you push the window open, and you climb into your bedroom, and then you hear music coming from your neighbor's house.
What kind of music?
Classical.
But if I sort of like lean out, can I see anything? Like, can I see him from? I don't know. If he's doing anything. Like he's out and about by window. Or...
Yeah, your neighbour's a bit of a tinkerer, right? So he's out the back and he's got the music playing.
Yeah.
He's got a bench of stuff. Yeah, that's right, isn't it? It's your character that's got that thing going on. So, yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. If I misremember anything about anybody's character, just stop me dead and then correct me.
Yeah.
Because
if I also remember, I'll stop you.
Yeah. So your neighbour's he's out and he's got some stuff. And he's got like a bit of noise going on as he's bashing some bit of metal, and the classical music's playing outside in his garden.
Doc, that's a bit vintage. What are you working on today?
And he looks up and waves, and he says, "Oh hey, Alex, yeah.
Don't worry about me. I'm just letting myself back in again.
I found this. Your parents not back yet. I saw them. Yeah, they.
I never remember.
They came back. I said hello to them about an hour ago, and then they were off again. Are you okay? Are you? You got enough?
I'm alright. Yeah, I'll just raid the kitchen. Yeah, I can. It happens enough. You get used to it.
All right. Well, just give me a shout if you need anything. All right. And he goes back to hammering away to the music. And then the night falls for Alex, and he wakes up, and it's the first day of school holidays. Did your parents come back that night?
For a flip a coin, I guess. Yes, but like quite late.
Okay.
So probably like after he'd gone to sleep. Just
Yeah. Okay, so you find yourself all having met up and on your bikes. You're cycling along a road that has a fair amount of hill climbing to be done in it. It's not just a flat road. You've got up to the top of the town. You've turned off the busier roads that go up to the factories. There's no traffic on this road. And from where you are, you have an absolutely fine view across the top part of town. You can see the housing estates that sprawl out right along the top part of the town behind. And you can also see each of the 3 cooling towers that you know are part of the loop that has been created. These towers sit at the top of the valley, above and looming down over the valley floor. It makes them look even taller than they are when you're right down by the river. But you can only see the tips of them. But where you are just now, you can see them not that far away from you. Now, I have created a rough approximate map of this. It's a very loosely created and sketchy map, but it should hopefully give you an idea. Now, do you see anything at the moment, or is Roll20 just turned to a black space?
It's done the black square again.
Black.
Yeah, okay. So what I'm going to do very quickly is just jump back and bring your characters through. It's a beautiful warm day, and all of you have been cycling. You're all feeling a little bit tired from the climb, but you know that's just how it is. You live in this place. That if you want to get anywhere out of the area, you have to climb up the hills to get to the flatter places at the top. And you know that you're coming towards the road that takes you towards the back entrance to Shepa. It's never used, but it's staff aren't allowed to drive on it. There's no way through for staff. They all come down the main road and up the other side of the property. But you're a good few miles. You're a good few miles away from that. And you're just cycling along, talking, chatting. And at this point, is there anything that anybody wants to pick up on as you're just out for getting out for it as a gang?
I don't know. If it was up to me, I'd flatten these hills. Such a chore going up and down them every day.
Yeah.
Quite the bother, really. Unnecessary,
Kinda-
whoever put them here.
They have a word with upper management.
I
Send
kind
in
of
their
like them.
complaints.
Going down's rather fun though.
That's
Yeah, I
true.
suppose.
Fair enough.
Race here.
Sure.
Where are we racing to?
The bottom.
Yeah, and to say that, you've just climbed up another one of these hills, and the road sweeps down away quite a long drop. You know this part, you know this area, and it turns to the left at the bottom before it yet again climbs up another little hill. But you know that not far away it starts to flatten out a bit more. And you start,
You're on.
First one to the bottom and not die is a rotten egg. Well, this win is last one is rotten egg.
And
You're
Martin's
on.
size, he knows it's always him.
That one down buys the snacks.
All right, the training wheels will come off eventually, Marty. Don't you worry.
He just kind of stops at the top of the hill. I mean, he's going to lose anyway because he stops. He just kind of takes a look around at the countryside from the top of the hill. Kind of turns his back on the towers as he does it. Kind of looking out across the rest of the countryside before he sees that everybody else is about halfway down the hill and realizes he's fucked it again. And then pedals
poor
like
Marcus.
fury.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for the collaborative part. 'Cause I was gonna suggest a thing of like, oh, we have a day off where everyone we take like a handlebar each, and then everyone goes down at the same time, as fast as we can. But it's fine. Goodbye, Marty.
yeah, you can suggest that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's too late. Yeah, it's too late.
So
We're already
you're-
halfway down the hill. I'm not climbing back
Yeah.
up again to do it.
No, yeah. For the next hill, there's plenty of hills. You do it on the way back.
Yeah.
This part of the world, there are occasional farmhouses, cottages, scattering around. There are areas of forest that cover the edges of the fields and act as windbreaks in the winter to keep either the crops or the cattle in good shape. And at the bottom of the hill, there's a gate, and it opens into what has been just a pasture for sheep. And at the first of you down, you see that there are two sheep against the fence, the gate, the metal gate. They're right up against it, and they don't. Their heads are looking like they're actually trapped. They look like they've actually got their heads stuck into the gate. Yeah, so you're kind of just cycle past them, or yeah, you see, this is what you see
Yeah.
when you come around the corner at the bottom.
I'll pull up.
Yeah, I'll ride
Like,
over to the fence.
Yeah.
Caro kind of hesitates a little bit. She doesn't really like farm animals all that much. But she follows her friends over.
Yeah, I think Alex would go up and just try to figure, just sort of like survey it and just sort of see like how they managed to get themselves stuck.
Yeah, and as you're looking around, and as you begin to look at these particular sheep, and you notice that there are other sheep at the top of the field, and you see a dog in the field as well. There's about 4 sheep, and they're staring down at the bottom of this field where you're now standing against your bikes on the road. And the dog
staring-
is there, and it's staring down towards those 2 sheep.
The sheep themselves, or somewhere like behind the sheep.
Yeah, they're staring down at the gate and at the sheep.
All right, I kind of wonder if something like spooked the sheep into the fence.
Can I take a really close look at the sheep's face to see if I
Yeah.
notice anything weird about them?
Yeah, so you look in. You sort of describe what you do. What are you doing when you are looking at the sheep? Give us a
All
give
right,
us a bit
so
of detail. Yeah.
I get off my bike and let it fall over into the grass. And I walk up. I'm gonna leave the sheep trapped because I think it'll make it easier. And I'm just gonna bend over and lean really close and stare it into its eyes, as if I know well enough what a sheep looks like to know what I would see.
In this part of the world, there are animals of all sorts in fields, and you just cannot get by without ever seeing them. And yeah, Jamie, you look down and you're trying to comprehend something here, I guess. You're trying to sort of understand what the situation is. So would you like to roll on comprehend? I think you can just click the word comprehend and it should roll appropriately.
Okay.
Oh,
2 successes. Nice.
nice.
Oh.
Okay. The sheep that you're used to seeing are very they always run away from you, right? They always run away when you walk through a field, when you climb up a tree, when you've been out for a walk with your parents, and they always run away. This sheep is not flinching. It's not moving. It's staring right at you, and it doesn't seem to blanch at all from the fact that you've approached it and are configuring it so closely. But the other thing that strikes you about it is it looks really old. It looks like it's perhaps a very ancient looking sheep, as best as you can ever tell. Its body just looks like it's got wrinkles, and you just assume that that's a sign of age.
There is something really weird about this sheep. And I'll turn to look at the other party members.
Yeah. How's it trapped? Like, let's say I'd like to look at like how it's trapped in the fence. Like, is it like the wires like wrapped around its neck, or is it like?
Yeah, it looks like it's run itself in. How are you looking? Yeah, you're just having a look at this, and you're sort of looking at the fence. You're looking at the gate, and
Yeah.
It
Is it
looks
just like
it's
what
jammed
kind of
its
fence
head
is
in.
it? Is it just like the ones with like the lines of wire going across?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of just got itself
metal poles,
horns
and
hooked and stuff and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got So it'd be easy enough to. You look at it and figure it'd be easy enough to free it if you had to.
Yeah.
As you're doing that, is anybody sort of looking? Anybody else sort of staring around, looking about? What's the rest of you doing?
Sanity check.
I think Rune will probably go join Jamie by the sheep and like look at them. He has been around sheep enough to have seen a sheep before, since he's in Norwegian. But yeah, I guess he's trying to look at the fence and see if it's if there's any electricity going through it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so yeah, you're trying to use some of your tech skills here.
Yeah.
So what skill would you use, and how would you go about it?
Calculate.
I would just pick a straw and put the straw on the fence to see if it sparks.
Yeah, so nothing happens. There's no current or such. It just looks. There are some bits of barbed wire as well that lead up to this. So there's a small chance of the top line is barbed, but they're not. There's nothing caught in it. It's just the gate itself that these sheep are caught in. And you look at this, and as you're approaching them, and as you're looking around them, you see that the sheep at the top of the field with the dog all begin to walk down towards you. So you just see this dog. It's a border collie, black and white, and normally when you've seen these in the around, they're working. They're on the back of a tractor, or they're doing something. But this one seems to be walking in step with these sheep, and it walks down. They begin walking down towards you.
I mean, is there anything strange about their movement?
They're walking side by
Martin just
side.
rocks up. They're walking side by side, like in a long line. Is that?
Not in a line. No, they're walking. Yeah,
Right.
like a line. Yeah, like that. Not in. Normally, sheep would follow one another, but these ones are all just walking down towards the gate.
Well, it's strange enough that they're just walking. So.
Oh, I guess Martin's late arrival. And he says something dumb like, "Oh, hey, they're stuck," and notices these sheep kind of coming down, just walking down the hillside towards them. Who is it that's actually kind of? Is somebody actually trying to free them, or it was people looking at them at the moment?
I think Alex was trying to work out how to go stuck and how to unstuck them. Then the other one started moving.
Yeah. So Alex, you can figure that you can pretty much just stretch out some of the fence, and they'll get free without any trouble.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I mean, they're not acting like they're in any distress at all. These two, they just
No. But like eventually they'll if someone doesn't find them, rather than
so
got free to wander around.
You free one of them quite easily, and it turns round, and it walks up towards the other ones that are walking down.
I don't think I like these sheep. They are very strange sheep.
They smell terrible.
So long as they don't come on our side of the fence.
they're just sheep. I don't think they'll hurt us.
I
don't know about the
don't know
I don't know
sheep
about
then.
the dog, though.
I just shrug my shoulders and then walk over and try to help the other sheep out that's stuck.
Yep. Yeah, easy done. Easy done. And the sheep does the same thing. It turns around and it walks back up the hill towards the other one.
Do they do anything? Are they just standing around?
Are you what are you doing? You're just watching them? Yeah. Yeah, they walk up, they meet each other, and as the group meet, they just begin to eat some of the grass from the field. The dog sits down and watches you.
Does the
watch
dog
the sheep.
look old?
From where you are.
Just because you'd think it would have like white hair on the face or whatever.
Yeah, from where you are, I think that you would be able to determine that it looked like quite an old dog. Yeah. So that's the scene. That's the scene, guys. That's that's what happens. For the rest of your journey through the countryside, if you want to go into any more detail as to any scenes there, but I'd like to hand it over to you guys now, and you can pick either another one of a scene from a mundane situation afterwards, or you can pick a scene from in relation to these events that you've just seen, and it can be anywhere. So, anybody want to jump in first?
Did someone say they want to go to town? also want to mention a cafe or something. I don't know.
Yeah, let's go to the corner
Yeah,
store
sure.
and get some snacks.
Yeah,
Sounds
snack.
good.
So
Yes.
right then, I'm gonna say for this one, Fellow, you're seen here. You are back in one of the cafes of the town. The Brown Sugar is quite a big one. It's like a tourists visit there, and it's got a big upstairs bit, and there's ice cream, and there's a kitchen that will do. It's also a bit of a bakery there. So it's quite a reasonable sized place. Or there's the coffee pot, which is a bit dingy and kind of dark, and like I say, there's arcade machines at the back, and everything there is fried, no matter what part of the menu it is from. It does a good strawberry milkshake though.
Fried strawberry milkshake.
Yeah. Maybe this is why she
So,
doesn't like the Scottish ones.
Yeah. So paint a scene for us, Vello, if you can, and what's happening with Jamie?
So Jamie is going to be sitting at a table eating some fries with ketchup. Just listening to the sounds of the cafe when somebody comes in, the like door chime. I'm watching the workers in the back. And then after she finishes her fries, she's gonna get up and go to the arcade and play some pinball.
Hey.
Hmm.
Yeah. And are you with the others? Are you with any of the others? Are you with all of the others at this point? What time of day is it?
I'm gonna say it's around lunchtime, and I'm there with my little sister.
Okay. Yeah, so you've come back and you're having a bit of fun, just chilling out there with your sister. Okay, what's everybody else doing after your bike ride or whenever, at whatever point after?
This
Anybody?
is hard.
Mark?
Yeah, like it's a school holiday, so world's your oyster.
It is. So after the bike ride,
fried.
maybe we've gone. Maybe Alex and Martin have gone back to Martin's house, because he's got one of those fancy new Atari 2600 consoles, doesn't he? VCS thing. And so they're kind of playing like a tank battle game comes free with it. Not that I remember this stuff at all. Yeah, we've been playing it for a few hours, and Martin's already asked Alex what he's doing on Saturday morning, because there's 3 Star Trek movies, the only 3 Star Trek movies are playing back to back, and you know, Alex is one of the cool kids. I'm sure he'd really, really like to go and see them. And he's asking us because he knows
you're just desperate not to see the film alone.
This is it. I think that's probably the case, and he knows his dad's going to let him down.
Yeah.
So he's kind of seeing if. Yeah. Yeah.
It's about 11.
I'm still
12
taking my
miles away.
lightsaber though.
Oh, you're a Star Wars guy, aren't you? Yeah.
Just the superior trilogy. That's all I'm saying.
What's your neighbor working on at the moment?
I think you forgot that. I couldn't really get a good look. It was distracted me with this old people music.
Old people music.
Well, I had to sneak into the house.
Oh,
yeah, I was
right.
listening to some classical nonsense. Not really my jam.
What, like the Beatles or something?
I don't know. It all kind of blurs into one, doesn't it?
Yeah, Martin has no idea whether the Beatles are classical or not.
What?
You
20
think he's
years
building
old by
a-
that point? It's like retro.
Um,
It's probably building some random contraption, like I don't know, something to make us cook his toast or whatever. Makes all sorts of weird nonsense, like inventions at his place.
they've already got
They've
a
already
machine
helped.
that'll cook toast.
Yeah, but some people are convinced they could do it better.
Wow, how difficult is it to make toast?
I mean, I'm not the one doing it, so I couldn't tell you the logic. You know, people reinvent the wheel, that kind of thing.
Where is this scene going? Where is this scene going?
Just making old people feel old.
Yeah, you're having the time playing the games, chatting away, trying to get yourself a trip over to Kelso to the cinema over there, and you know you have to get a ride. You have to. You can't get there yourself. You can't cycle there and back. It's too far.
Especially at Martin's case.
Road trip.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's a good point. You're just kind of chatting away and you're having the discussion. Okay, so what's Rune and Caro up to?
I think Caro probably got home, discovered that hers, like their bedroom looks like a bomb's gone off in it, and has just like, aside from reaffirming the tape that like separates the room from her sister, has just like absolutely blitz cleaned hers and just dumped everything that belongs to her little sisters on her side of the like line that divides their floor, because she's sick of dealing with all of the mess and the general, you know, there's all sorts of jeans and riding boots and one of those really weird 80s helmets that they used to use, and just like all of that sort of general stuff. And now, having restored the room to, or at least her half of the room, to like a reasonably pristine sort of a state, is writing a letter maybe back to her paternal grandfather, or grandmother, sorry, just to like, you know, talking about how homesick she is and how much she misses, and just sort of generally, I guess, getting a bit of a talking about how school's going and her friends and the sheep, I guess.
And as you're thinking about that, your aunt slams her way back into the house. You hear her just collapsing, and she's she goes to the phone, and you hear it. She picks up and says, yeah, I just want to know, have you found your dog? Is the reward still there? Ah, well, yeah. Well, I thought maybe I could help. Look. Yeah. I'll do that. £20. Yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah. And puts the phone down.
I think Caro's ears would prick up at that, and she'd be like scribbling in her diary like that there's a lost dog, but not necessarily knowing whose dog was missing or whatever. She might wonder if it was actually the border collie from the field earlier. I feel like her relationship with her aunt is fairly hostile, so I don't necessarily know that she would like go down and try and talk to her, particularly if she was the only one at home. Like, yeah. I don't necessarily think she's violent, but I don't necessarily think that she would just be willing to engage with her, particularly if there wasn't somebody else in the house to, like, you know, deflect a little bit, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. and then you hear the door close as she goes downstairs into whatever part of the house that she stays in.
Maybe she like slides a doorstop or something under the door to stop her aunt from bursting into her room, and expectedly.
Yeah. So that kind of that sets there. Rune, this day is on. What's Rune been up to after the trip out?
I think he went to his neighbors to eat lunch. Because the lady there is somebody who used to live in Norway or has like Norwegian roots or something. So she's kind of like granny, and she feeds him sometimes. He had lunch there, and then he went out skating just anywhere.
As you're out skating, you go down to the supermarket car park, which is one of the places that you can skate at, and sometimes you see other skaters there. There's a poster stuck up on one of the telegraph poles at the entrance to the supermarket, and it says "Lost Dog." Picture of a black and white border collie. £20 reward, and it gives the address of the place.
How thoroughly is it taped to the board?
Yeah, not much. You could easily.
Well, I will
grab it.
probably rip the poster off and like take it with me.
Yeah. Yeah. So you enjoy your skate. It's nice and dry. It's the summer, so there's no rain about, and get some good times going. Does anybody join you in the skating? Is there anybody else that skates with you?
There's probably like a few guys there skating, but it's probably the time of day where like afternoon around dinner time, so it's not a lot of people around really.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's a few old people that walk past and give you disapproving looks. They don't like skaters, and they tell you to watch out the way, and they give you a bit of grief, but yeah, otherwise it's all right. Okay, so that's that sort of day, I guess. Is anybody doing anything? Anybody got any other suggestions or ideas for scenes? Do you meet up later, or what, how does it work?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
After at Oh.
Sorry, that wasn't until
A
Saturday,
while.
and it's going to be a long time for Alex. That's for sure. Yeah. So, the fire station. I mean, is that easy for us to get to? I'm thinking, like of an evening, or would we be likely to kind of meet up there?
It's off the high street.
Yeah.
It's in the centre of town. It's not far away from the main road that runs through the centre of town, which goes down to the loop. So yeah, it's easy enough. It's opposite a car park.
Right.
You might even see. Maybe, I mean, it's possible that Rune would be skateboarding and not far away from you at all. So only a few minutes away.
I would say after playing some arcades with my little sister, I would go to take her home and walk past the skate park where Rune is at to say hi, because I know Rune hangs out there.
Yeah, that's a cool scene. So you just got that. You're walking by your sister, and your sister's like, "Can I have a shot? Can I have a shot?"
Have a what?
I want a shot of the skateboard.
Oh.
Rune, can she?
Of course. And Rune will probably even help the little sister with like go out 3 rounds around on the board and
Cool.
like hold her hand and everything.
Well, that's going on. I'm gonna look for some pretty flowers that I can give my sister.
Over the other side of the car park, there is a garden, and it's part of an ancient. It used to be like a friary, and it's still like a site of an old place. So yeah, there's flowers. There's flowers in there.
I'm going to sneak in and take some.
Yeah, it's public, so it's okay to go in. As part of building the supermarket there, they had to actually maintain it and keep it right. So that happens. Yeah, you get in and you're able to pick us a nice bouquet of flowers. Yeah, so you've got them. That puts it now. Do you? So is the next scene then? You're all back at the fire station.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
I will probably show them the poster of the dog and say, wasn't this the dog that we saw this morning?
It's
Never
a drawing
mind.
of a dog. Yeah.
Never mind the dog. What about the money?
Well, obviously, yes, but
I think my aunt's out looking for it. She was on the phone this afternoon.
Did she
talking to
mention where
someone
she's
about a
looking?
dog. No, she just sort of. I think she's also after the money. She said she was going to help the person whose dog it was.
Oh. Well, you guys want to find it?
yeah.
Sure.
I mean, how much was the price again?
The
£20
£20 reward.
Yeah.
20?
A lot of money.
That's a
Lot
lot
of
of money.
arcade tokens.
We could definitely share that and get, I don't know, pop
on
or
sugar.
ice cream or, yeah, so much
Yeah.
goddamn sugar.
Plus the opportunity to screw over my crazy aunt. I'm always down for that.
Awesome.
Let's do it.
You think
But
it's
where
the
would-
same
Go
dog
team.
that we saw earlier?
I mean, we could try with that one,
looks like
and we could just work our way through.
Yeah, we'll just work through all the dogs that we know about.
It's
See
just
this
a
one?
black and
No.
white dog, right?
Yeah.
It's just a black and
Yeah.
white dog. We could just take that one. They
Just
wouldn't know any
take one.
difference.
Kara's just
Exactly.
pulled out her diary and is going through the list of people, like looking for anyone who she's written down has a dog.
Yeah, if it's not the right dog, we just leave it there.
Even have to be
Yeah.
black and white. We just grab.
We'll paint some
We'll
extra
just paint
spots on
it.
it.
Well, we could
Clean.
always
Whenever
go
when a plan
back
comes
and-
together.
Yeah. We could always go back to those sheeps and see if the dog is still there.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
If all else fails, I can steal my older sister's hair dye. We'll just make a black and white dog.
Exactly. Yeah.
I like this
course you thought.
plan.
To the bikes then.
Yeah, I mean that farm dog was weird.
Yep.
Yeah,
There's probably something wrong with it.
we probably should take a lead or something, or a rope or something with us.
Definitely.
Yeah, Rune, do you have one in your
Always
workshop?
several.
Oh, there's you could probably find something you could fashion into a
Yeah.
rope around the fire station.
Yeah.
We're 12-year-old kids. We just get a bit of string.
Yeah.
Hailing
Yeah.
twine.
So, yeah, that's like you kind of set out. Then, where does the scene pick up?
Probably back
Um,
at the ranch.
Yeah, at the gate. At the gate to the farm, or the where we found the
Yeah.
sheep, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're kind of looking out across the field to see if we can I mean, is the dog still there? I mean, I suppose the sheep probably are, but is the dog still there?
You don't see anything because you're at the bottom of this hill. The field goes up to the top. But you don't see anything in the bottom bit that's leaning down towards the gate. But the gate's there.
I will trespass.
I will
Yeah.
trespass as well.
The good news is that in Scotland, there is no law of trespass, and you have the right to roam.
Oh.
Oh.
Then I
That sort
shall
of takes the edge
roam.
off.
I will
Whereas
definitely
we
roam
just
then.
used to convince each other all the farmers had shotguns and were entitled to use them if you went onto their land. But
That almost never happened.
we did things a little differently in England.
We'll worry about that later.
Isn't it basically as long as you shut the gates and don't trample any crops, you're pretty much golden?
Yeah, leave it as you
Mm.
found it.
Yeah.
But as kids, you didn't believe that.
Yeah. Do you shut the gate? Are you going in the field? Sorry, and if you are, do you shut the gate?
We don't even open the gate. We climb the gate.
Yeah, we climbed the
Yeah.
gates.
Yeah.
You on the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
So you drop your bikes and you jump over into the field. It's grass anyway. There's a few molehills there. There's a patch of nettles at one side, which you can easily avoid. And you get to the rise of the hill, and you're looking back across this expanse of the field. There's hedges all the way around it, but at the back there's a forest, a big pine forest, coniferous, large trees, mature, fully grown for all intents and purposes. And behind that, you see the moors kind of stretching away. It's kind of like what I'm popping up on screen just now. This is just an example of what some of this more upland area of where you are looks like. This is sort of typical of the scenes that you see when you get up this high and you're up into the fields. But yeah, in this particular instance, there's the forest skirts the back end of the field, but that's not what attracts your attention. What attracts your attention is that in the middle of the field there are 7 sheep and a dog lying down.
Are
They're
they
probably just
alive?
sleeping, right? It's been a long day.
Lying
Right.
down or like sitting,
Yeah.
like how a sheep would sit.
So as you get closer to them, you realize
Oh
that
no.
they don't look good. There's signs of trauma. There's signs of blood. And on the dog.
Oh.
We're gonna need a new dog, guys.
I mean,
Well-
did the sheet say that we needed it to be alive?
Yeah, like as long as it's like the same dog, does it really matter?
I mean, I think we'd probably be more likely to get a reward if it's alive.
That's
So the
true.
dead are alive?
Probably. Can I take a closer look and see if I can, see what caused the bleeding? Like what killed them? Are they slashed up?
Yeah, traumatic. Looks like they've been cut and crushed, and the parts kind of just shooting and slammed. And yeah, they definitely look like they've been cut, and they definitely look like they've been thrown about. The bodies are all just in a pile. And as you walk over to these, the scene sort of pulls back, and coming from the trees, you get the glimpse of something shining against the evening sun from behind the trees, and then you hear the sound of what sounds like servos, and then a clump, and then another. So it's like when it gets
That's like
It's just
robots to me.
it's getting quieter as you walk
That's
away.
going away. Oh, we were. Yeah.
As you walk towards it, it's getting quieter from you. Yep.
Well, that's creepy.
Think we should go tell the farmer?
Uh,
I think someone's got to. It's like,
What do you think?
whatever
Maybe
did
he'll
this,
think
it's
we
got to
did
be
it.
going off somewhere else. I mean,
What do
look at the.
parents ever do for us? Adults are
We might-
dumb.
We might be blamed for this.
I mean, I don't see how. If you take me like probably like days, probably just do one. Besides, whatever that is may go somewhere else where there's other kids.
yeah.
We should at least track it. If we're not gonna go tell someone what happened, we should follow it.
I mean, I am
See
really
what's going on.
curious what it is.
Yeah?
Are you curious enough, though, for that to happen?
Promises, yeah.
I mean, I'm a little scared, but we could be sneaky.
Yeah. We could
We're
also run
also-
faster than old dogs and old sheep.
We're also smarter than sheep.
One can only hope.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Besides, I'm a rocker.
So we're all
Live
just
fast,
standing there
yeah,
waiting for the
live
first
fast, die
person
young.
to go.
Fine, I'll do it. Which way is the
I start
sound
air
disappearing?
guitaring.
Yeah, let's go.
Through the back of the trees.
Yeah. Hey, come on, gang.
Yeah,
Okay, so
okay,
this-
reluctantly.
I would love it. I would love the idea that, like, having a wide shot where he walks to the tree line, stops, realizes no one's coming with him, and then just goes like, just walks back and be like, "Are we going or not?"
Okay, let's
It's
go.
done. It's
I
done.
think
It's done.
Yeah.
Kara would be very gingerly picking her way around these sheep so like she didn't get any blood on her shoes or whatever. Because I'm guessing that they kind of exploded like a balloon in terms of like bits of stuff everywhere if they've been sliced.
Yeah,
up
there's a
like
fair amount of trauma and viscera and stuff in there. Yeah, it's not pleasant.
You can hide the
and
biggest
you-
part of the dog if you want to use it later for your scheme.
I'm going to march towards the woods line with instilled confidence.
Excellent.
Like, I'm gonna just
First follower, let's
walk
go.
around. Yeah.
So Alex has come back and he said, "Come on, let's go." And he's kind of you've had to look into the forest. The forest that you see at the fence. There's like another gate on the other side that leads into the forest. It's an older gate. It's a wooden gate, and it's been smashed. And it leads down into a forest track. There's deep grooves in the ground that have been old and grown over, but at one point it looks like vehicles would have run down here. 4x4s and the like, bigger, chunkier Land Rovers or something, farmer vehicles. Yeah, as you look, you can see that it gets quite dark. There's a lot of trees further down. It turns a corner. You can't see what's round it. But the forest path leads it away, and you can, if you stop and listen, you can just hear the faint sound of the trudging of the footsteps going down that way.
Could we have brought our bikes?
Does anyone have a flashlight?
I have a lightsaber.
It's as good as a flashlight.
Yeah, I don't know how much light you can get out of like a plastic toy with like AA batteries in it.
I guess
Actually,
we're
probably
going
be
to
like
find
those. It'd
out.
probably be those big C-cell batteries, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Maybe one of our
it would
bikes
be.
has a light that we could take off? Is it dark enough to need a flashlight?
Not yet. No, it's just because the height of the trees.
trees
and
are- yeah.
the forest. Yeah.
Oh.
And it's a long way back to the bikes.
Yeah, it's too far.
Yeah.
We've gone too far to go back.
Yeah, I mean,
Not
that
going
exactly.
back now, no.
See Martin there, be like, "This is the farthest I've ever been away from home."
I take one more step. Right. Look,
Come on, the faster we get there,
we're
the more light we'll have coming back.
now.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
So the scene
Yeah.
there is you're walking down this forest path, and yeah, you cut around the corner, and as you come around the corner at the end of the next path, you see a gate, a metal high fence that looks like it's about 7-8 foot high. There's a large gate in there, and the gate is open. This is at the end of the path, at the end of the trees, and there's a clearing behind the fence, and you see the corner of a property.
Is it like, and there was a dirt there, like tough enough that we could see like big metal footprints if they were there? Something that we might match the sound we heard. Like there's something mechanical that gone through.
Yeah, there's a couple of muddy puddles, and you see just this big, I guess, three-toed at the front, one kind of support at the back, and just this is a big spludge of mud there.
I take it that we can't hear the sound anymore either.
Not anymore, no.
Is that like outrun
Must
us or stop? Maybe it's. Is the footprints leading in or out of this like compound?
The one that you saw, yeah, it's heading the same direction that you are towards the compound.
Maybe it's already got there and gone to sleep. Maybe this is its lair.
Maybe. We
We
should
need a
check
cape to make this look cooler.
Can I
should
go up
take
to
a
the
look
corner of
at
the
the
fence?
rental house.
Deep round.
So what are you doing? You've gone
Wanna
on?
go-
You've gone down?
Yeah, I think
being
so.
s- Are
Yeah,
you,
let's
are
go up
you
to
all
the
being
corner and peek.
stealthy?
Yeah.
I think maybe insofar as it's probably quite a scary thing, isn't it? So we're probably not going to be wanting to draw attention to ourselves. I guess. So
I mean, it could be stealthy. I guarantee nothing in that department.
so I guess we're doing our best to kind of stay out of sight of the thing, whatever it is.
Yeah. You don't see it. Let's have a roll.
Oh, gonna make us roll.
Yeah.
Behind you.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I guess
Which-
sneak. Is
Sneak.
it?
I'm looking through all the list. But yeah, sneak. Here we go.
Yeah.
The ability to hide, sneak, or steal. So yeah, everybody, give me a roll in sneak, and let's see how sneaky you all are collectively.
Wait, how do I do that?
You go into your character sheet, then
Yeah.
if you, I'll bring up your.
If you
character
click- if
sheet
you
as well.
Click on sneak. That you might have
Click on
like
the-
a little
yeah, you got a couple.
a little
points.
window.
There's- Yeah.
Window might open behind it with a bonus dice thing to put in. I just found mine behind the character sheet. So
Ah, right. Okay. So yeah,
Yeah.
typical.
So,
Yeah.
what do we put in for bonus dice? Is it just
0. I
None
guess.
at this
Zero.
point. No, you're not using anything. Nobody. None of you have an item that will help you be more sneaky.
okay?
Okay.
0 success.
One
I
success.
knew it. I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Because I got no points in it.
So,
Likewise.
Caro, you're being particularly successful now. What you can do, when you get multiple successes, is you can spend that extra success, and you can spend it on a number of things that you can change for the future. Now, this is slightly complex stuff, and I 100% got my head round it to tell you, especially now that we've just come to midnight. But what I am going to say, we'll discuss that. But I'll leave you with this scene. As you sneak down the forest path, you're all fairly quiet, with the exception of Martin.
And me.
Oh,
and Alex.
There's a 2 fails.
Yeah, Alex also
Yeah.
got 0 successes.
Ah, right. Okay.
Probably
Oh
because
yeah.
of the lights,
Right. Excellent. Yeah. So Alex and Martin, you guys are trying to be quiet, and you manage not to be. And as you get towards this farmhouse, you see quite an old whitewashed farmhouse with black slate tile roof and a chimney breast facing the end, with a porch area at the front that's side on with you, and the path leads to that and the door. But what's it that you do that makes the noise that allows you to on a forest path?
Unless we're doing that thing where we think we're whispering to each other, but we're actually whispering really loudly.
Like, shut up! No, you shut up!
Yeah, be
Like
quiet.
classic, like kids cartoon one. Yeah, you're making too much noise. No, you're making too much noise.
Excellent. So yeah, and you do that, and as you approach the gate, it opens up a little bit, and you can see behind the house, there's what looks to be a mound in the earth, semicircle, protruding from it, with a concrete frontage. And as you're making that noise, you hear the sound of the robot again, but you also hear a second sound, and a second robot appears. So just as we're going to leave tonight and continue the episode in a couple of weeks' time, as you look through this large fence, down to your right-hand side behind the house, you see 2 robots in the yard, and they've been alerted and they're looking around.
Well, the Ewoks really need them.
Yeah, these are the big standy up, like foot walking robots that we've seen. They're big 2-legged, with the big body. But what particularly draws attention to these ones is that there is a deer lying in front of one of them, and it looks like it's been slightly cut, and the other one is reaching forward to pick it up. And that's where we'll end this episode.